everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer. In this video, I'll be showing you how I made this cute Santa and elf inspired by a picture I saw on Pinterest. In case you missed it, this is part of my Christmas countdown series going on right now, so check out the other items I've made so far if you haven't already. This is relatively easy. You will need some type of a saw to cut out the sharp angles for each body. Now, I used a bandsaw, but a circular saw or a jigsaw would work as well. You're also going to need dowels to make the legs and art supplies to decorate the bodies. So if you're interested in making this project, stay with me and I'll show you how I did it. I began by looking through my storage shed for boards that were wide enough to create the body section and thick enough to accept the dowel legs and long enough to make 2 examples. I settled on this board. It's approximately 5.5 inches wide, 3/4 inches thick, and 37 inches long. I cut the board so that one half is 18 inches high and the other is slightly longer at 19 inches high. I decided it would be best to drill the holes for the legs to attach first. So for accuracy, I created a jig out of scrap wood that's also 3/4 inches in thickness. What I did was found the center of my piece and went 1 inch to the left and 1 to the right and drilled holes by using a small drill bit and increasing it in size until I reached one that is the same size as my dowels. If you have a drill press, that would be especially helpful, but since I don't, I tried very hard to keep my bit straight up and down. I added side support pieces using hot glue to create a channel in the jig, and I added painter's tape on the stock piece and inside the jig, and used the hot glue again to anchor it and keep it from moving around while I drilled my holes. I used a vise to hold my piece of wood straight up and down so I could get a decent shot of this process for this video, but you could also clamp the piece down to a table. I used painter's tape on my bit as well to set the depth for the dowel so I'd know where to stop. This worked well. Next, I drew out the angles I'll need to create the body. To do this, I found the top center of the board and drew lines with a straight edge to the bottom right and left. At this point, I figured it would probably be best to add the grooves into the body to define the hat and beard portion. Now, you don't have to do this. I just copied what my inspiration photo showed. I went over to my wall of tools and chose my mini circular saw for this task because I felt it would be the safest and easiest tool to control. You might want to use a chisel or some other method. This is just what I did. I came down 9 inches from the very top of the board to create the hat, and the beard is down 13.5 inches from the top to the bottom of the V. I set the depth of my saw to about 1/4 inch and cut the horizontal line, then carefully cut each 45-degree angle to make the bottom of the beard. Mine weren't exactly perfect, but that's okay. Then I took the pieces into my basement where my bandsaw is and carefully cut out each body. You could use a circular saw, table saw, or jigsaw. I just felt it would be difficult to clamp the piece down, and my bandsaw is the safest option in my opinion. Once that was finished, I headed back outside to cut the legs to 8 inches each. To keep the cut pieces from flying away or getting damaged, I used painter's tape to secure it to my miter saw table, which worked well. Painter's tape is one of those shop essentials that often gets overlooked, but I find I use it a lot. I gave everything a good sanding and found these 6x6 inch pieces left over from my lantern video. If you haven't seen that craft, check it out. It's part of this Christmas countdown. I decided they'd make the perfect bases for this project. I chose glossy black craft paint for the legs and used a scrap piece of foam insulation to keep them upright while they dry. I used red paint for the Santa and brown stain for the elf, but ended up redoing it with brown paint after filming as it didn't cover the imperfections in the wood enough for my liking. I painted the beards white and it took about 3 coats to cover. I like the idea of giving it a bit of a textured look with the brush. I used the jig and my painter's tape and hot glue method from before to drill the holes in each base, and I sprayed everything with a clear coat of polyurethane, and once dried, I attached the dowel legs to the bodies using wood glue. Next, I had to figure out what I was going to use for the eyes, and I settled on googly eyes spray painted black. I attached large buttons, red pom-poms as noses, and the black eyes using wood glue as well. The last step is attaching the legs to the base using wood glue. You'll want to make sure it stands up straight and the legs are secure. You could add greenery or other decorations to embellish the body or base if you'd like. So I hope this video was helpful and inspirational. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see the rest of the countdown. You can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook as well. As always, I thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.